recording, Sarah. And if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to go over just a few clinical things real quick. So can everybody see my screen right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. So just first off, I wanted to give you guys a quick peek at the schedule that we did send out about a week or so ago, just so that you guys are aware of and can keep in mind the events that we have coming up. First and foremost being this Friday, we have the GIS Virtual Networking Pipeline event, which registration has closed for it. But for those of you who have registered, be ready to attend, dress to impress. That'll be Friday morning. And then moving on from there, we just have our March 10th meeting with the RMI and industry associations. So we will have representatives from both Rocky Mountain RIMS, Colorado CPCU, and Colorado Prima have all confirmed their attendance for this meeting. So be a great opportunity to kind of get some face time with some of these risk management and insurance associations and also learn how to join. So just those are the two that are kind of coming up here pretty soon, but this schedule was provided to everybody via email. So just make sure that you are aware of these events that we have coming up. The second thing I wanted to touch base on was right down here. I want you all to know and be aware of that we do have all of our meeting recordings available. For those of you who aren't able to attend any number of meetings, they are all being archived. So, and this is also in the email that we sent out to all the chapter members. So if you click this link right here, whoops, it'll take you to our YouTube page. Once it loads.
While it's loading, if you have any issues accessing the YouTube, hit me up. I'll put my email in the chat.
Definitely. And so if you look right here, we have all of our meetings available to be rewatched. So like here's our spring off meeting in January, and here's part 1 of our how to land an internship or job in the risk and insurance industry that we just had last week, today being part 2. So all of our meetings are going to be archived for you guys to have access to these. We know that you, all of us work changing busy schedules with work and academics and personal lives. So we did want to make sure these are available for you guys to be able to watch and still benefit from. So yeah, like Sarah said, if you aren't able to access this for any reason or need any help or have any questions, just reach out to one of the two of us. We're more than happy to help find you answers. So that is that for you. And then the last thing I just wanted to bring your attention to was the GIS point system that we have implemented. It's basically revolving around attendance and other ways that you are, actively participating in the chapter over the course of the semester. So this is in your guys' emails as well. This has been provided to everybody. So just keep in mind, the opportunities that you do have to earn points over the course of this semester. You attended a meeting today, so you get 5 points for attending today. And then, so for all the members who achieve over 30 points this semester, we will be supplying a GIS logo North Face backpack. So definitely some cool prizes and merchandise in there for you guys, just to participate and attend and benefit from the events that we have over the course of the semester. So great things. That is all that I had as far as announcements for today, though. So I will go ahead and pass the baton over to Miss Sarah to lead us into part 2. So Sarah, take it away.
Thanks, Caleb. Good to see everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'll start by putting a bug in your ear. If you attended to the first part of this, it was definitely more of a presentation. I did a lot of talking. Today it's going to be more informal. I am going to cover some different things, still in the same kind of topics, preparing for interviews, resumes, LinkedIn profiles, distinguishing yourself as a candidate. So still the same sort of topics. We're just going to do a little bit of a deeper dive, and I'm going to be taking lots of questions. So if you have anything that comes to mind, anything at all you want to know in this sort of area of topics, throw it in the chat or raise your hand or just come off mute and feel free to give me a question and we can go over that in our meeting today. I'm going to kick off by actually going over a couple things that Caleb said would be helpful. So thank you for the suggestions before the meeting, Caleb. We're going to deep dive into some resources. And I think how I'm going to do this is all of us on here are RMI majors or double majors. So I'm going to do this through the lens of the Opportunity Roundup emails for some additional resources for you guys. By the way, good to see you, Eric, briefly. I know you're still on, but turn off your camera. Eric's working. It's good He's like, thanks. So anywho's, first of all, if you are not getting the Opportunity Roundup emails on Mondays, let me know. My email's in the chat. I know that some students have issues getting those. I want to make sure you're getting them because there's a lot of really good information on there.
I haven't gotten mine in a while.
You haven't? Okay. So quick tip with those, if you aren't getting them, make sure to add rmi@ucdenver.edu to your safe senders lists in your email. You can also, I believe it's like on your webmail, you can right click on the sender when you get emails and add them to save senders or added to save senders, something like that. They should be going to your inbox. I've heard that some students, it goes to your, what is it called? Not the focus main one, but the other inbox. And so you don't see it. So you can right click on emails that go to your other and make sure that they go to your focused inbox too. But they go out every Monday. And hopefully you get yours next week, Jerwin. This week's, if it's helpful, was sent out yesterday at 2:41 p.m. So you can check.
I see that one now.
Hey, perfect.
The last one that I got was from like January 11th.
Oh.
Or the one that I...
Yeah, that's not ideal. Definitely make sure it's going to your focused and that RMI@UC Denver is on your safe senders, and that should hopefully fix it for you. But definitely let me know if you continue to have issues. So this week we happened to feature the replay of last time's meeting at the top. We always have really important announcements there. I know this is a pain because you get a lot of emails, but I highly recommend like taking at least 10 or 15 minutes each week to kind of deep dive into these, especially if you are actively looking for a job or internship, because each week we change it up, highlighting different internships and jobs. We have really important announcements like scholarships, industry groups you can join, Gamma Iota Sigma events that are coming up. So also as a club member, it's a great place to get GIS news. What we're going to do is we're going to deep dive into some additional resources on here, though, that aren't the most obvious. I will also throw this out there, not to put anyone on the spot. It's not something that needs to happen right now, but if you have any ideas at all for how we can make this better, how we can make it more easily readable for you, more easily digestible, please let me know. Because Lori and I do this new every week, and we'd love to make it easier for you guys to kind of navigate. But here, one of the first resources that is not super obvious under the upcoming events, there's this hyperlinked document that goes to all of our events listings for the entire rest of the school year. And why this is really important, if you're looking for an internship or a job, it can help distinguish you as a candidate. I get asked all the time, how can I make myself more distinguishable? How can I get the better jobs or the better internships? And that is being involved in industry events. So showing up to the meetings that are on here, joining the clubs that are listed at the top, obviously being part of GIS is a huge help. But all of those sorts of things will help distinguish you. You can add it to your resume, you can network. Especially in this virtual world, it's been hard to get students engaged. So if you are like the only student or one of like 2 or 3 students that shows up to one of the local industry virtual meetings, that is huge for growing your network, for putting your name out there, your face out there. Jerwin, we were talking casually before we got started about how he got the Chubb position. It helps just so that they recognize your name. So I cannot emphasize enough to go in, check out these groups that are listed here at the top. To start with that, one thing that's a really cool opportunity that can help set you apart, is getting involved in newer organizations. And at the very top here, I have a plug for the National African American Insurance Association. PIAC, which is another local group, is working with local industry partners to get a chapter started in Denver. It's open to all students. It's huge. It'd be a great way to connect with folks and help them get their club started. So get in on the ground floor of a club that's trying to get established, or a local chapter. It's already established national organization, but that could be huge. Reach out to me if you're interested. You already know about GIS, so I'll kind of breeze over that. The Colorado Public Risk Management Association, Colorado PRIMA, they're a really good organization to get into and network. It's public risk managers, so it's kind of a different lens or view than insurance. They have free monthly meetings, free membership for students. I will say that I think that their membership registration and website is having issues. So if you try to go join as a member and you're having problems, let me know and I can get you in touch with their membership person. But they provide a named scholarship for our students. It's actually the largest named scholarship that we have in all the scholarships that we offer. So it's a really great organization to get involved with. Colorado CPCU Society. As a GIS member, you get free membership. And I apologize, Edward, were you gonna say something? I just realized you unmuted.
Oh yeah, I actually won their scholarship for this semester, and it's a very good scholarship. And I think you and I went last year to one of their events before everything went online, and they're very interesting to talk to. So,
yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Thank you. And it's kind of cool. They move around their locations too. So like you get to see different parts of the metro area. And Edward was awesome and rode with me. When we do have in-person events, I always am driving to those. So if you ever, when we're back in person for things, you need help getting to places, let me know because I can help with rides. But CPCU Society, you get a free membership to that as a GIS member. So you're already members and they would love to see you at meetings. They have one coming up in March. I want to say on the 16th. Let me double check that really quick. March 16th. Yep. And Primas will be March 18th. And I haven't added them to the list of events yet, actually, because their registration links aren't live. But yes, great organizations, RIMS, also a great organization. Those three, Colorado Prima, CPCU, and RIMS, as Caleb mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, they're going to be at our next meeting, March 10th. So come out, you network with them, ask them more about their organizations, find out more then. QGrads and InsurTech Denver. So QGrads, if you are looking for a job or internship, QGrads on LinkedIn is huge. It's a national organization, networking group led by Tandeka Nomvete. If anyone was in GIS a little bit earlier, that name might sound familiar. She used to be with GIS, but she's fabulous. She helps students with all the things we're discussing, LinkedIn profiles, resumes, interview tips. But instead of just being part of, limited to CU Denver, she's part of this Quest Pro organization. So she, especially if you're looking for like a national internship program, or you're looking to move out of the Denver area after graduation, QGrads is a great organization to get involved with. And it's free. And they have coffee chats every Wednesday, last I knew, with different topics and speakers from the industry. And then InsurTech Denver is a great group as well, free and open to students. Their LinkedIn group has all of their upcoming meetings and events, all of the big players in InsurTech. So insurance is a technology, if you will, in Denver area are part of that group. So some owners and founders of local InsurTech companies. It's really interesting. They have lots of different tech-related topics. Highly recommend joining them as well. And then after all of the information on how to join these groups at the top, we have all these events. I know that the Zoom fatigue is a thing. I'm on Zoom meetings a lot too, but highly recommend joining on any of these that you're available to. Join, growing your network. getting connected to internships and jobs. I get feedback from students all the time that they felt like they were better able to obtain a job or an internship through connections that they had. So all of these are good. And I tried to put anything and everything, whether that's hosted by GIS, the RMI program, or any of those industry groups on here. Any questions on industry groups, how to join them, the events listing, anything like that while we're on this page? Or feedback too, if you've, like Edward was giving feedback, if you've joined one of the meetings before and really liked it, all that's good too.
All the days for all these meetings and stuff are in like the sublinks for all these, right? Or
Sorry.
oh, okay, yeah.
What? Oh yeah.
I see it. It's just further down. Okay.
Yep. To go to actual events, there will be a link associated with each one. Yes. Good question. Cool. Oh, RIMS. I wanted to highlight RIMS really quick too. So we'll talk to them next meeting. But they have either a $25 student membership for the year, or you can go through a request for a waiver of dues. So it's totally free. RIMS gives 4 $1,000 scholarships every fall and spring semester that are completely outside of the management of the RMI program. So another great group to get into is RIMS, because they have those scholarships available that don't always have enough applicants or very many applicants. So another really good organization. So moving back here, just some more resources from our opportunity roundup that are helpful for internship and job search. After the upcoming events listing, we have scholarships and contests. I know that's not really related to internships and jobs, but that's all related to money. Highly, highly recommend applying to any and every scholarship that you are eligible for. I cannot emphasize enough that especially national applications don't always have enough applicants to be able to award their scholarships. This is something that I did not take advantage of as a student. I told myself, oh, like someone will beat me out. There's no point in wasting my time. But being on the side of higher education I am now, I see all the time that they don't have enough applicants or they have very few. Highly recommend anything you're eligible for, apply for it, because it's pretty easy money usually. But moving on to internships and jobs, there's always a section in the roundup about internships and jobs. The ones that I highlight here, I'm highlighting them because an industry partner usually has sent them to me directly, and they've probably done it recently. So like Kemper, they've sent me those positions in the last week. USI, we've talked about in the last couple of weeks. The associate banker at Chase, that just came out in the last week or two and was sent to the program directly. The Allstate one I did find online, but it's also a newer job. So really pay attention to these positions because, again, usually industry connected and more recent postings. When you click this link that says check out the latest RMI jobs and internships, I would love feedback on the page that it takes you to as well, because there's a lot of information on here that's not super obvious. We talked about last time at the top that there's an RMI sample resume in the text here. Notice that I say schedule an appointment with the BCC, the Business Career Connections team, if you would like further help with your resume. I'm happy to look at it and I can give you RMI related advice, but they are definitely the experts on resumes, LinkedIn profiles. So we're gonna go into how to connect with them, how to get appointments with them here later on. We have all of the internship listings that I'm aware of. I believe I mentioned this last time, but just to re-emphasize, I try to arrange these by putting the ones that were directly sent to me at the top and also the newest ones at the top. So any of these are going to be great options, but if they're towards the top, that means that it was sent to me more recently, and or an industry partner directly reached out to me because they want to see you Denver student in that position. So when you apply to things on here, keep that in mind. Also be sure to reach out to me, Sarah Kelsey. I love putting in a good word for you guys with our contacts. Sometimes they're willing to meet with our students or answer questions about the position. So definitely keep me posted as you're applying to things so I can help you along the way.
Please do let Sarah know. She has been tons of help to me over the course of the last 2 years. She is amazing.
Aw, thanks, Edward.
I definitely double that. Yes. Sarah's a fantastic resource. So when she says reach out to her and gives you her email, definitely utilize that.
Thanks, guys. Definitely do what I can to help, and we can cover, all things we're doing today, but specialized and tailored toward you. So I'm here for you. But there are a few things in addition to the listings I want to point out on this page. There are these internship resources. So I know a lot of you still are looking for internships for the summer. I think like half of you on this call are. So check out these internship resources. The first couple are additional financial support resources. I'm not up to date on their application windows. They may or may not still be funds available for this year. But two really important documents when you're actively doing your internship search are actually these bottom two, the internship critical info and the procedures. So pay close attention if you have not done an experiential learning workshop yet to this undergrad internship procedures one. When you open it, this is just the flyer that the ELC Experiential Learning Center puts out. And I'll actually, now that I look at this, I think I have an even more updated one now that I will get updated on our website here so you have it. But the first step to getting your internship secured is you need to attend a 30-minute internship workshop offered by the ELC. And why you need to do that is they give you permission to report your internship in Handshake as well as apply to positions in Handshake only after you've done that workshop. So we were talking earlier about how Handshake is a great resource. If you have not done the 30-minute internship workshop, definitely do that as soon as possible so you can get better access to Handshake. Why I mentioned not having one that's out of date, I think with COVID, there's also a new option where they have a Canvas Canvas available where you can do a self-paced learning for that online to get access to Handshake. So make sure you do that first. They also go over all the different places you can go. We were just looking at the RMI opportunities page. You don't have to get an internship through there in order for it to count for credit. All you have to do is follow the need to haves in this internship critical information flyer for the risk internship. It has to be 150 hours minimum, has to have a risk management or insurance focus. And for summer, I know there's lots of you doing summer, it has to be a minimum of 6 weeks in the summertime, or in fall and spring, minimum of 10 weeks. So lots of flexibility in what you can do with that, where you can intern, the positions that you do. But for all of those of you on the internship hunt, this is going to give you a real quick what you need in order for the requirements, since you can get it from, bear with me just a moment, please. Get down. My cat loves to eat my bamboo plant. Sorry. Anyway, so this gives you everything that the internship needs to, the requirements that needs to meet. It gives you some ideas down here about different topics that you can do. And then going back to the one from campus gives you access to that internship workshop, and then the steps of how you enroll in the course once you have an internship secured. And then this also goes into like the minimum requirements to be eligible for the internship. Any questions on internships or the requirements for them while we're on that topic?
How often would you say they hold those 30-minute internship workshops, like per week? Do they have them like every day, or is it just like a couple appointments available per week?
I know it's at least once a week. It depends on the week too. Sometimes it's more often. I'm not currently on my VPN because I did not want to have bad internet connection. But like I said, if the workshops don't work out, I'm almost positive that there's also a self-directed course you can do on Canvas now.
Okay. And are those internship workshops, are those one-on-one or are those group workshops?
They're group workshops.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah. Good questions. Awesome. I just want to highlight here when there's the search information. This is applicable for internships or jobs. Gives you good advice. Informational interviews and networking is super important. We were talking about Handshake. It's come up a couple of different times. Handshake is huge, whether you're doing internship or job search, because you can upload your resume on there. You can put in the classes that you've done as a student. You can put in your student organizational activities. It's just another tool for recruiters to find you. And in the times of COVID, it seems like the vast majority of career fairs are through Handshake as well. So I encourage all of you, if you don't have your profile update on Handshake, go do it today or as soon as possible. This mentions mass search engines. If you did not know it, you can set up job search alerts on both LinkedIn and Google. And I highly recommend that because I try to do that to add to our RMI opportunities page, but I'm only human. I'm not going to catch all of them. And you can target specifically for you. So you can put the specific location where you want it, any kind of job titles that you're open to, different organizations you're interested in. When we flip over to LinkedIn, I'll show you how to do that on there. Sweet. So going back, we're back to the RMI opportunities page. Going back here, in addition to job listings, again, same thing with the internships. I put the newer ones and sent to us by industry partners towards the top. So keep that in mind. There's a whole bunch of other resources that can help with your internship or job search listed at the bottom of this page. So I mentioned the BCC. In addition to Business Career Connections, Links Connect is the main campus version of that. They have peer advisors for drop-in sessions. It's another person to look over your resume and or cover letter. We talked about last time that they're very subjective. So if you have the time, getting lots of different opinions is always good. The Links Connect folks also put together a job search studio on Canvas that's pretty interesting. Optimizing your job search during the pandemic. Webinar replay was really good. There are various resources on here, la-di-da. I wanted to highlight the big interview. If you have not heard this as a CU Denver student, you get access to the big interview for free using code 1475. It gives you all kinds of tips, tricks, how to be the best interviewer person ever, interviewee. There's also some additional advice down there or replays. So check out these resources at the bottom for additional tips and tricks. But moving right along to LinkedIn. So I got asked about, great question, Caleb, about LinkedIn Learning. It got brought up last time when we were talking about LinkedIn. It is a tool that you can use. It's really free to you as a CU Denver student. I'm going to drop this link in the chat actually, so you have the press release for more info. But it's amazing. You can take courses on there from a wide range of topics, anything from like working from home, like interview tips and tricks, Microsoft Access, learning all different sorts of things. And what happens is when you complete those classes, it shows up as a badge on your LinkedIn profile. So that's another really cool thing to add to your LinkedIn profile. Let's see. Of course, it's going to take a while to load, but to show you what it looks like. Well, first of all, The blog article post, I think, covers this, but you can link the LinkedIn Learning to your LinkedIn profile. So when you do, it just pops up here in the upper right-hand corner, so that you can access your learnings. I'll bring that up here in a new tab here in a second. But when you actually go through and you complete a course, or sometimes it's like a curriculum of things, then after your experience, it pops these certifications. So like earlier in the pandemic, I did a course about working from home. It actually pops up here, shows when it was issued and if there's an expiration or anything. Side note, when you join RIMS, you get a badge that you can put on your LinkedIn profile, which is cool too. But it didn't load properly. There are all these different courses and classes you can take on LinkedIn Learning. It's amazing. Adds a badge to your LinkedIn profile. Highly recommend it. You can, save things to look at later. It offers, when you connect your LinkedIn Learning with your actual LinkedIn profile, it will make recommendations for you based upon your experience or what you have listed on your profile. So very, very cool. Any questions on LinkedIn Learning?
I just have a comment to add. I know at least myself, with all the additional time that I have spent at home, not being on campus, that does open up a lot of opportunities to do things like this, so some of them are super short, like they're just like 15, 20 minutes. There are some that are a couple hours long, but these just at the bare minimum show recruiters and employers that you have initiative in certain categories, that you're going out of your way to expand your knowledge base. So definitely, I second looking at these when you guys do get a chance.
Mhm.
I do have a question. How much do these cost usually?
So I honestly don't know what the pricing is if you weren't in CU Denver, but because you're a student, it's totally free.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I also have a question about LinkedIn Learning. So after we graduate from CU, do you know if we'll still have access to it as an alum?
That is one thing that I am not sure about. I know current students do. Let me move this. I think that it's just faculty, staff, and current students.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So definitely take advantage of it while you can. And I would say that for any of the clubs we mentioned, because RIM, CPCU, Prima, it's quite expensive to be a member when you're a professional. So cannot encourage you enough to do it as a student when it's free. Sweet. I also said I'd show you how to do job alerts. So when you're on LinkedIn, there's this jobs tab. And you can do it for search for a job. When you do a search, like we'll just do risk management intern. Ugh. Okay, we're gonna update that real quick to Denver, Colorado. Wasn't expecting that to already go. Okay. I recommend Denver metropolitan area because it's going to be more inclusive of all of the burbs. So when you search, you can put in all of this stuff, all these details, date posted, experience level, certain companies, if they do remote, all these features. So once you have your search all set up, then all you have to do is turn on the job alert. Super easy, and it will allow you to set it up for either email notifications or email and notifications, how often you want to receive those updates too. Highly recommend that when you're actively on the search. So moving to, I said I'd come back to the BCC. The BCC is amazing. I cannot recommend them enough. While I'm thinking of it, thank you too for folks posting in the chat additional resources. Thank you, Anna. And thanks for the additional advice, Edward. Appreciate it. But going back to the BCC, they're amazing. On here, they have all their resources available. You can click a link right here to make an appointment. Like we've talked about, they cover LinkedIn profiles, resumes, cover letters. Let's see, you can do a mock interview with them. I highly recommend mock interviews. It's one thing to do interview prep and just like casually talk it over with someone. Do an actual mock interview and pretend like you're doing a real interview is huge. So definitely recommend reaching out to them. They also offer some workshops and different events. So be sure to check out all the resources they offer on here. There's a new Canvas course called Business Career Connections that you've been invited to as a business student. It'll give you all these additional tools, so check it out. It's amazing. They also have additional resources on here about the things that we're covering: perfecting your resume, optimizing your LinkedIn profile, searching, navigating. It is huge. This finalize the job offer tab reminds me to emphasize with you guys to be advocates for yourself when you are on the search, especially for when you're looking for full-time jobs after graduation. I helped a spring 2020 grad. I didn't really do anything. We briefly chatted, but she was wanting to make a little bit more money than the initial offer that she got. And all she did was send them a quick email asking for a little bit more money. And they actually gave her even more than what they asked for. And I was like always of the mindset to never ask for more money when you get a job offer that it looks bad. But she was a success story. I've talked to other people who have kind of negotiated a better salary or wage for themselves. So keep that in mind when you're looking for full-time jobs upon graduation. Any questions about the BCC or feedback? Edward, thank you for throwing that in the chat too. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, they're fabulous. All of them are amazing.
I also want to add on to that, just that I completely second that. The BCC is absolutely amazing. If you ever need help with putting together your resume or your cover letter and customizing it to match a job description, please see the BCC. They are a great help.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. It's really important to match your application materials to the actual job posting. So good reminder too.
Or even your resume for that matter. But yeah, I definitely agree. It's very useful. They help like very small details that you wouldn't even like pull out in most circumstances. And Sarah has helped me a lot in a lot of like basically every time I've applied to any place, I always send her my resume now. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's really important, even if you don't change a lot on your resume, just a few little tweaks to each job you can apply to can be huge. And Jerwin threw something in the chat. I'm glad that that video was helpful, Jerwin. I think I will go ahead and play that real quick since we're doing okay on time. This is a quick video. It's also linked from the bottom of the Are My Opportunities page and those free resources here. It's this nonchalant, check out this video for tips on how to close an interview.
I think getting an elevator pitch ready and then like pulling that out of nowhere just to like throw it at them, I think that's like the biggest thing in closing.
Yes, absolutely. The best, I think I said this last time, the best advice I ever got on an elevator pitch was if you don't feel slightly greasy, when you say it, then you're doing it wrong, because it feels weird to brag about yourself. So you may feel awkward like doing it, but that's how you know you're doing it right, because the point is to totally brag on yourself.
Can I say something really quickly?
Yeah.
I know this is something most people probably haven't heard, but for interns, like when you're actually talking to people, like what I've noticed is the most important thing to do is beforehand, know what you care about and what you're looking for. Because if you don't know what you want, it becomes a lot harder to explain like what makes you a good candidate for them, or why they're a good candidate for you. So just ahead of time, spend a lot of time thinking, what do you want? What are you looking for before you go anywhere? So
huge. Very huge. Awesome. I'm gonna see how well this plays. Please like wave at me if like the audio is bad or something. But it's only 5 minutes and it has some.
Hey interns, this is Tony Cañas, and today I want to talk to you about interviewing, and especially a very particular part of the interview, which is closing. This is a part of the interview that most people don't do. And by the way, I'm talking about interviewing from the perspective of the talent, from the perspective of the interviewee, not the interviewer. There is a very, very, very important part of a job interview, which most people are not even aware exists. And I have found it to be super, 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 super helpful. A lot of what I'm sharing today comes from the Manager Tools interview series. You can find it at manage-tools.com. They sell it for about $150. Totally worth it. I don't get commission on it. If I got commission on that and I got commission on getting people started on CPC, I probably would have to work. At the end of each interview, whether that is in person, video, phone interview, maybe with the exception of like the HR screening, because that's not really an interview. So if you have a real interview, whether it's on the phone, on video, or in person, with either a hiring manager or a director or somebody in the chain of the organization. So anybody except for the HR screening, basically. What I want you to do is during this section, when they give you a chance to ask questions towards the end, you want to time it so that the last question, so that when you have time left for basically one question, instead of asking a question, what I want you to do is close the sale. And what I mean by that, whether it's sales job or not, what I mean by that is I want you to say something along the lines of John, or Lisa, or whatever the person's name is, or Mr. or Mrs. whatever. I just want you to know that I am very, very excited for this job, that as I've proceeded through the interview process, I've become more excited about the job and the company. And I just want you to know that I really, really want this job, and that I am going to do an absolutely fantastic job for you if I get the opportunity. Thank you very much for your time. What does the rest of the process look like? And a lot of people ask that, what does the rest of the process look like, please? What they don't do is really reinforce the fact that they're excited about the job. Very often for professional interviews, very often you end up having 3 or 4 interviews with different people. In that case, at the end, even if you're doing the same day, at the end of your time with each of the separate people, you want to do the same thing. If it's a panel interview, then you tell them all together, right? Don't do it 3 times, you tell them all together how excited you are for the role. Then, as soon as you get home, or within the next half hour, you want to send an email to anybody who interviewed you separately, an email to each of them saying, hi, John, or whatever the name is. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview me today for the role of whatever. I really enjoyed, and then include some notes from the interview. I really enjoyed our conversation about the future of the company. I really enjoyed our conversation about the future of the department. I really enjoyed our conversation, whatever. In fact, if there was a piece of the interview where you sincerely went like, wow, this is really a great job for me, and then bring that up. I really enjoyed your answer when I asked you what kind of person is successful in this role. And more, I am convinced that this is the right role for me, and that I am going to do an absolutely fantastic job for you and the company. Thank you very much. I look forward to hear from you. Name, email, thank you to everyone that interviewed. And then handwritten thank you note to everybody that interviewed with a similar format. There is a chance that you will receive an offer before the handwritten thank you notes get there. That's fine. If that's the case, they will be further impressed and further thrilled that they made you an offer. There's a chance that the job will have been offered to somebody else and you didn't get it before the physical mail arrives. That's fine. You've made no damage. In fact, if their first choice doesn't accept, you just moved up in the list potentially. And there's a chance that the snail mail will arrive while they're still in the decision process and will have a positive influence in you getting the offer. That's why it has to be done very, very quickly. Handwritten thank you notes have become a lost art, and they're, especially millennials and new years, are very unlikely to present handwritten thank you notes. So they matter. I've kept handwritten thank you notes on my desk or on the fridge for months. I've seen people keep handwritten thank you notes for years because they have become that unusual. They can make a big difference, right? If you do the interview, the handwritten thank you note's not going to get you the job. Okay, let's be clear on that. But if you did well enough in the interview, the handwritten thank you note and closing might be the bow that ties it all together and makes it super clear that among all the best candidates, you're the one they really want. Thank you for listening today.
He's awesome. I highly recommend Insurance Nerds. This is another great way to distinguish yourself as a candidate. Start getting industry newsletters to your email box. I know you already get lots of emails, but just being aware of hot topics in the industry can help set you apart. The Insurance Nerds folks, when they do their newsletters, they'll put out random video topics like this that can be helpful with interviews or figuring out what you want to do in the industry. So the insurance news, or like this dude's channel, his archive of videos, they have some really good topics on there. I did want to emphasize though, the handwritten thank you note is probably not necessary in COVID because so many people are still working from home, that it will probably be months before they get a handwritten thank you note, but it is a great gesture when we're actually working in the office to do a handwritten thank you. I second what he said. Some people had sent me a handwritten thank you note and I still have them to this day because of the nice things that they send there, and like they took the time to do the handwritten thank you, so they can be huge. Looks like Derwin's putting a plug there in the chat, which is awesome. Cool. That's awesome, Derwin. Thank you for sharing that. It can be huge. It feels weird. I go above what this insurance nerds guy said and actually like boasting about yourself a little bit more. But read the room too. Some organizations are not into that. It was definitely huge at USAA. So Caleb, we can talk before you have your USAA one-on-one.
Sweet. That's going to be on Thursday, I believe.
Ooh, cool. Okay, we'll chat.
Good.
Yeah. But yeah, we have a few minutes left. So I'm gonna like pause for a moment. Any questions, comments, feedback about any of the topics we covered today or in the first session? Anything you think would be helpful to know?
Insurance nerds are amazing, by the way. What was it? The book that was on the screen, The End of Insurance as We Know It. Its author actually got a chance to talk with us. I think literally on my very first Gamma Iota Sigma meeting. I love the book. It's really fun. It's not particularly good for like this topic, but it's just good like general information about insurance, which you might want to know if you move down the line. I've seen a lot of like the videos that they put out and some of the newsletters over the years. They're really good. I do recommend taking a look at them.
Yeah, they're great. Thanks for some of the direct chats letting me know about folks having to leave early. That's totally fine. Thanks for joining. Good to see you. But yeah, the various newsletters, they have good topics. Something else that I've heard this guy do, I forget his name, Antonio Canas, say that I recommend too is when you're looking at RMI internships and jobs, to emphasize your passion for the industry. You're in GIS, you're an RMI major, you want to make a career in RMI, you're not just in it for the short term, you're in it for the long term. Some other things that I'll leave you with, besides making sure you have that interview close and emphasizing that you want to get in the industry, make sure, this is huge for interviews, make sure that you thoroughly research the company and the position in advance, know your stuff, know why you want to work for that company, find out some like random things that like maybe they have certain philanthropy initiatives that align with your own personal initiatives, or maybe you really like their vision and mission they have on their website. Things like that are huge. Finding, this is a little bit creepy, but finding your interviewers ahead of time on LinkedIn. You don't necessarily always want to connect with them perhaps, but you at least want to check out their profile so you can get a little bit of background information on them. It's helpful if you can bring it up in the interview. So like for this position, I checked out Ajayo, our director of the program, on LinkedIn and found out that he was in the private sector before coming into higher education. I was able to like banter with him about that during my interview, that I'm sure probably helped. Things like that can really make you stand out from other applicants.
I will say that is very true. But I think I recommend, because I feel like this is how I've gotten like the 2 like actual offers in the end. I spent time talking to people. I went on LinkedIn and found other people that were in the same corporation and asked them if they could talk for a little bit, since I was interested in what they did. And most people in our career are more than willing to talk. They love talking and like seeing what they do, and just hearing about their culture, about like what they feel like in that company, I feel like will give you a good insight as to whether you want to be there. If you want to be there, it'll be apparent. People will be pulled towards you if you're excited about being there. So
For sure. Well said. It's huge. Remember that interviews are a two-way street. You're not just interviewing them, or they're not just interviewing you, you're also interviewing them in the company.
Also, it's really hard to fake actually liking and showing enthusiasm for a company. So if you are gonna like apply for a company, make sure you actually like them.
Also a good tip, for sure. Cool. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope this is helpful. Like I said, feel free to send me feedback about the RMI opportunities page, about the opportunity roundup emails, if there's anything we can do better on there. If you're not getting the emails, definitely email me, let me know, and we'll get something sorted out. Keep me posted as you apply to things so I can hopefully put in a good word for you. And yeah, I'm gonna hang out in case anyone has any questions or anything. I'll have to leave fairly quickly. But I'm here, and it's great to see all of you guys as always. Thank you for being here. And bonus points to Jennifer for wearing a Baby Yoda mask. Thanks,
Well, thank you for your time and your preparation for this meeting, Sarah. I really appreciate you doing what you do for our chapter and for the students here. So thank you. Thank you. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day.
You as well.